Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ibrahim Sagbalaji and I'm the founder of Bote Technologies. In this tutorial video, I'm going to be showing you how to apply HTML colors on our HTML element. If you are new to this channel, do not forget to hit the subscribe button for more awesome content like this. So right now, I'm going to launch my Visual Studio Code and I'm going to create a new file. So this file, I'm going to call it color.html. color.html. So right here, I'm going to go into the body tag. In HTML, there are different ways in which we can apply colors to our HTML element. The first is using the color name, and we all know there are different color names. We have the red, we have the green, we have the blue, we have yellow, we have orange. We have different color names, and also we can apply HTML colors to our HTML element using Hex code. This Hex code the Hex code uses a hash value followed by six hexadecimal digits, and this hexadecimal digit ranges from 0 to F. And also we can apply HTML colors to our HTML element using HSL. The HSL stands for hue, saturation, and lightness. And another way we can apply HTML colors to our HTML element is using the RGB. The RGB stands for red, green, and blue. And in this tutorial video, we are going to be learning the 4 different ways in which you can apply HTML colors to our HTML element. If you are new to this channel, do not forget to hit the subscribe button. So right here, I'm going to start with the color name. So I'm going to have how to apply colors to HTML element using color name. So the first example we're going to be dealing with is how to apply colors to HTML elements using a color name. So right here, I'm going to have my H1, and this H1 is going to be how to use a color name in HTML. So right here, I'm going to have my paragraph, and the paragraph is going to contain a dummy text. So I'm going to be using the lorem ipsum. So right here, we have the lorem ipsum. So I'm going to cut it into different lines so we can actually see what we're doing. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to press enter, I'm going to come here, press enter. All right. Just like I said, we have different ways in which we can apply colors, and we have different ways in which you can style our HTML tags. The first is the inline styling, followed by the internal styling, and followed by the external styling. So right here, I'm going to be using the internal styling to make our work very simple. So right here, I'm going to come inside the paragraph tag. I'm going to use the style. So for the style, I want to apply a color, so I'm going to use the color property. So right here, I'm going to choose a color name, and I'm going to choose red. So when I save it and I go back to my browser, I'm going to see that the paragraph or the text in the paragraph has already been changed to the color red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to open it with the live server. So the live server is going to show me what we've done. So right here we have the lorem ipsum, and the lorem ipsum is in the color of red. So right here, I'm going to style the H1 tag as well. I'm going to give it a color of green. So I'm going to come back into my Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to go into the H1 tag, and I'm going to use the style attribute. So the style attribute, I'm going to use a property called color, and for the color, I'm going to be using the value of green. So when I go back into my browser, I can see that the color of the H1 has already been changed to green. So I believe you all understand how we got this. So right here, I'm going to go outside this, and I'm going to be showing you how to style or how to apply color to HTML element using the Hex code. So I'm going to have my comment, how to apply colors to HTML element using Hex code. So like I said when I started my video, there are different ways, and the Hex code uses an hexadecimal value. So this hexadecimal value ranges from 0 to F, 0 to 9, and 8 to F. So right here, I'm gonna have my H1, and the H1 is going to be how to use a hex code to change color in HTML. Right, so under the H1 I'm gonna create a paragraph, and this paragraph is going to be a lorem ipsum, a dummy text. So I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna cut this into a new line. All right, so I'm gonna be using the inline styling. So I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna use the style attribute, and I'm gonna call the color property. And yeah, instead of using the color name, I'm gonna be using the Hex code. So the Hex code, I'm gonna have hash, and I'm going to have FF0000. So the F is the highest value, and the F really stands for red. It stands for the highest value you can have in the it stands for the highest value you can have. And for each of these the RR, so for the Hex code, we have two properties each for the code. We have RRGG and we have BB. So let me include a comment here so that you can understand what I actually mean. So when using the Hex code, we have two properties. We have hash RR, we have GG, and we have BB. So the first two values is red. I want the highest value of red, which is FF, and I don't want I don't want any bit of green, and I don't want any bit of blue. So I'm going to set the four of them to 000. So that's why I'm having a red color. So right here, I'm going to go back to my H1, and I'm going to style the H1. I'm going to give it a property of color, and I'm going to give it a value of hash FFF000, and I'm going to save it. So when I go back to my browser, we can see that we have a red color for our H1, and we have a red color for our paragraph as well. So that's about the Hex code. Now we are going to be looking at how we can use the RGB styling. So I'm going to come here, and I'm going to have my comment, how to use RGB color styling in HTML. And here I'm going to have my H1, and I'm going to have how to use RGB color styling in HTML. So right here, I'm going to have my dummy text, and the dummy text is going to be the lorem ipsum. And inside the lorem ipsum, I'm going to have inside the H1, I'm going to use the attribute color style. I'm going to set a color property to it, and right here we are going to be using the RGB. So the RGB, we have the red, we have the green, and we have the blue. So the RGB value is a value between 0 to 255, where 0 is the a shade of gray, and 255 being the highest value. So if I set the if I set a value of 255 to the first column, that means the red color is going to be having the its highest property, and it's going to be red. And if I set the green to 00 and the blue to 0, that means we are not using any green color, and we are not using any blue color. So right here, I'm going to set the green to 0, I'm going to set the red to 0, I'm going to set the green to 0, and the blue, I'm going to set it to 255 being the maximum value. So right here, I'm going to come into my paragraph, and I'm going to give it a style attribute, and I'm going to use the color property, and I'm going to set a value of RGB. And for the RGB, I'm going to set the red attribute. I'm going to set the red to a value of 255. I'm going to set the green to 0, and I'm also going to set the blue to 0, and I'm going to save this. So when I save this, I'm going to go to my browser and see the changes on it. So now we set the red to 0, we set the green to 0, and we set the blue to 255, and we can see that the H1 for the RGB color styling is already blue, and we can see that the dummy text, the paragraph, is a red color. So that's how to use the RGB. Now the next one we're going to see is how to use the HSL. HSL stands for hue, saturation, and lightness, and the hue has a property between a 0 to has a property between 0 to 360, where 0 is a shade of gray and 100 is a black color. And also with the saturation is a percentage value, and it lies between 0 and 100%, where 0 is a shade of gray and 100% is the full color. And also we have the lightness. The lightness is also a percentage value which lies between 0 and 100, where 0 is black and 100% is white. So we're going to be saying how we can use the HSL in our HTML. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to have my comment, and the comment is going to be how to use HSL color styling in HTML. And I'm gonna have my H1, and the H1 is going to be how to use HSL in HTML. And I'm gonna have my paragraph, and my paragraph is going to be a dummy text of lorem ipsum. So I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna break this into a new line. So now to use the HSL, I'm gonna come into my paragraph. I'm going to use the style attribute. I'm going to set a property called color, and I'm going to use the HSL. So for the HSL, I'm going to be using for the hue lies between the 0 and 100, so I'm going to be using the 0. While for the saturation, I'm going to be using 100%, and for the lightness, I'm going to be using 50%. So which is going to give us the red color as well. So when I save this and I go back to my browser, you can see that the paragraph has already changed to a red color. So to use a green color, I'm going to go to the H1 and I'm going to set a style attribute, and I'm going to give it a color of I'm going to set it to HSL. So for the HSL, I'm going to be using 147, and the saturation is going to be 50%, and the hue is going to be 47%. So I'm going to come here, and we can see that the HSL is already in green color. So if you really enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more awesome content like this. See you in the next tutorial video. Thank you.